Everybody, please welcome to the CSFL 2026 Draft Lottery Show. Today, we will reveal the results of the 2026 CSFL Draft Lottery, and more importantly, I'll be breaking down the 5 worst teams from last season. I'll analyze their current state, biggest needs, and what each team should focus on heading into the draft. Join me as we take a quick tour of these struggling franchises and look at the key areas they must address to turn things around. Let's dive into the teams at the bottom and what you need to know about each one to their road to recovery. First up, we have the Indianapolis Colts. As you can see, the Colts weren't very good last year. They're coming off of a dismal 0-16-1 season, facing significant challenges as they enter the offseason with a slew of roster needs and draft capital at their disposal. They have a prime opportunity to reshape their future. However, success will hinge on making the right moves, starting with the draft. As you can see, they have pretty much most of their picks, minus their second-round pick this year. Let's look at key draft pick and assets. The Colts own several picks, as you can see, including selections in the 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. With a projected top 5 pick, first-round decision could define that team's trajectory. If they secure a high enough draft pick, they should definitely target the top quarterback in the draft to solidify the most important position on the field. However, if their draft position prevents them from grabbing an elite quarterback, addressing a safety position, as you can see down here, the safety position is a position of need. They could also they kind of need a they need a safety. They don't have one. They can use a game-changing safety if they don't grab a quarterback. Quarterback situation, as you see currently, they have Taylor Haneke under center for him. The dude's 28 years old. He's 87 rated. It's not bad. He's not a bad quarterback. He shows some promise. He's not a long-term solution for him. And the team's need for a franchise quarterback is pressing, considering his age is getting up there. And whether through the draft or potential trade, they need to secure that top quarterback. It's a priority for them. They need that franchise quarterback, and the current quarterback is just a stopgap quarterback for a couple of years. Offensive line needs. They need reinforcements. They're in desperate need of reinforcements. Tony remains a top-tier guard for them. Even despite his age, the Colts, they must find a complement to protecting their quarterback and strengthening the running game. Upgrading the interior line will be crucial to any offense success moving forward. Wide receiver position, as you can see, wide receiver and tight end depth. The Colts receiving corps is also in need of a true number one. As you see, they don't have one. Curtis Samuels is their best wideout, but he's more of a versatile playmaker than a top tier number one. With only 4 receivers on their roster, the Colts should prioritize finding a dynamic go-to option in the passing game. Despite depth at tight end. Depth at tight end is definitely a concern, considering they have 1 tight end on their roster. And, they need more flexibility and reliability in offensive schemes, and they need some tight end depth to help with that. Defense overhaul, pass rush, and secondary. Defensively, the Colts have a mix of young talent, but lack playmakers. At cornerback, they have plenty of bodies, but none really stand out to be that true shutdown corner. So finding a dominant cornerback one would be essential to stabilizing their pass defense. Defensive line also needs some attention. Colts are still searching for that true number one defensive end. They don't have it. Hill shows promise. Yeah. He'll show some promise. If my game would load back up. He's a solid number two, but they need a premier pass rusher to pressure opposing quarterbacks and improve their front line. Get back into it. As you can see, they don't have any true guy. But Hall, he's more of a number two option at this moment. And we're looking at linebackers right now and safety revamp. Look at linebacker, the team only has one young 25-year-old player. He lacks speed. Yeah, he lacks speed necessary to cover today's dynamic offenses. They need to include a fast, athletic linebacker to complement the existing talent. It will be vital to boosting the defense. As you can see, they don't really have too many good ones. They have some aging linebackers up here. And they just have, they need some more linebackers, young speed. Evans is 25. He's got 73 speed. It's okay. It's nothing great. And we're going to look at the safety position right now. It needs depth and youth. Colts should consider drafting a young safety, a free safety to groom behind. You want to groom into a starting role. They don't really have anything great here. Their free safety is aging. You need to groom that new number one behind their current safety. All right, kicker concerns. They don't have a kicker. Can't really overlook the kicking aspect of the game. They need to find a reliable kicker that will be, could be able to convert extra points and field goals at a high rate. There'll be a difference in tight games. Road ahead, the Colts are a team with many holes to fill, as you can see. They were in last place, but they also possess a great opportunity to turn things around. And if they play the cards right with the top 5 pick in the upcoming draft, several other selections, they can address key needs. And for quarterback, receiver, the offensive line, and defense, they can. The Colts are smart with the personnel decisions and with prioritizing critical positions. Like quarterback, safety, guard, receiver. They could set a foundation for a more competitive and successful season in the future. I really think they should go quarterback. That's just me. Let's go ahead and move on to the... wrong one. We're going to go ahead and move on to the Saints. New Orleans Saints, critical offseason rebuild to reverse struggles. New Orleans Saints are coming off of a difficult 4-13 season, as of many other teams. And the franchise faces a pivotal offseason in their journey to rebuild, with several areas in need of improvement and a full slate of draft picks, as you can see over here. So bring that back up. They have all their picks. They might need to make really smart decisions and to return to competitiveness. Here's a breakdown of teams with pressing needs and how they can address them. Quarterback crisis. At the heart of Saints' problem lies their quarterback position. Jake Heap is a 31-year-old veteran. Currently, he holds the top spot in the depth chart. But, with 83 overall, he lacks arm. He's more a stopgap than a long-term solution. The Saints are in dire need of a franchise quarterback. and this should be their top priority in the draft. With a strong quarterback class expected in 2026, the Saints can use their first-round pick to find the leader they desperately need under center. Now, he's okay. He's 31 years old, though, last year contract. They need a franchise quarterback to build around. That's what they need. Offensive line weakness. As you can see, they do not have a great offensive line. Protecting quarterback will be key to the Saints' success, but their offensive line, particularly the guard position, needs a serious upgrade. Jermaine Afadia, where the hell you want to pronounce his name, their top guard, he is only rated as an 80 overall. He's 20 years old. His blocking skill and strength leave much to be desired. They must address this glaring issue by securing 2 reliable guards to draft the free agency to solidify their offensive front. The guy's not bad, but he's nothing to phone home about. He's okay. But they need to address this offensive line if they want to have a good chance. Wide receiver and tight end depth. Obviously, you have Tyreek Hill here. He provides star power at receiver, but they lack a true number 2 option to complement him. Without additional playmakers, their passing attack will remain one-dimensional. Shoring up that receiver corps should be another priority, giving their quarterback a more solid targets and helping them stretch the defense. And we bring up this roster. Similarly, the tight end position requires attention. As you can see, Hayden Hurst is currently the number 1 tight end. He's 28 years old. He's only 76 overall. He has decent speed and hands. He's not really a blocking tight end, but they lack depth. They don't really have a reliable, he's 28. He's not a true top-tier tight end. The Saints need to find a legitimate number 1 tight end to elevate their offense and provide more options in the passing game. You can't just have Tyreek Hill. You got to have something to complement them. Next, we're going to look at defensive holes: cornerback and linebacker. Defensively, the Saints are also in need of major upgrades, especially at the cornerback position. It's important. They don't have a reliable number 1 or number 2 on the roster. And with only backup level players available, this weakness could be exploited in a division full of strong passing teams. Adding a true shutdown corner and a solid number 2 should be a priority. They have to have corners to stop the passing game. The entire division is pretty good at passing. We also run, but if they can't stop our passing game, then we're going to keep doing it. A linebacker is another position of concern. The team is a mix of young and veteran players, but none of them stand out as a leader. The Saints need a true number 1 linebacker with speed, leadership, and ability to anchor the defense. Finding a top-tier linebacker could help stabilize the defense and need the playmakers. As you see, they don't have too many linebackers, and they're young. Most of them are young. They're developing, but they're not there. They need that true number 1. They don't have that. Now, depth at running back and special teams. Saints' backfield is thin. They have two running backs. They have a good running back in Lindsey. He's 27. He's lacking a little bit in speed, but the speed's not bad. Hogan is the backup. He's a decent backup, but they need depth. Adding depth at running back will ensure the team can withstand the wear and tear of a long season. Running backs get hurt. The more if you use that one running back, he's going to get hurt eventually. You need to have some depth to be able to do multiple things. Lastly, special teams. needs attention, as the Saints don't even have a punter on the roster. Finding a reliable punter should be a simple but necessary step in rounding out the team. The path forward, with needs spanning both sides of the ball from quarterback to offensive line and from cornerback to linebacker, the Saints have a lot of work ahead. However, with the draft picks in hand, the Saints should have they have the assets to address the needs and begin rebuilding a competitive team. They also have a bunch of cap that should help them with the free agency. If they can find a franchise quarterback, shore up the offensive line, and address key positions on defense, the Saints could make significant strides in turning their fortunes around. It'll be hard in the division, but they can do it. The 2026 draft and free agent periods will be critical in shaping the team's future, and the right moves could set them back on a successful path. Alrighty then. Next, we're going to take a look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs, all-season blueprint for rebuilding after a 4-13 season. As you've seen, there's a lot of 4-13 teams. For some reason, that's just the way it ended up. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs coming off a rough 4-13 season, and the team faces critical decisions heading into the 2026 offseason. With a wealth of draft capital, including a first, second, 3 number 4s, and 5 through 7 rounds, the Chiefs have a prime opportunity to address key areas of needs. However, strategic choices will be necessary to maximize the potential and get the team back to winning ways. Quarterback. Planning for the future begins now. The team isn't doing good. The Chiefs currently have veteran quarterback Kevin Hogue. He is rated 89, and he is 29 years old. While he's still capable of leading the team for a few more years, Kansas City needs to start planning for the future by drafting a young quarterback to groom now. If they find themselves in a position to draft the top quarterback, it will be hard to pass up the opportunity, especially considering how rare it is to land the top pick in a lottery draft system. Securing the QB of the future now could provide stability for years to come. Hogue is pretty good, but he is aging. You need to go ahead and draft it now if you're going to have a top 5 pick. Get that quarterback now if you're able to. Offensive line. Major upgrades are needed. The offensive line is another critical area that needs to be addressed. Both guard and tackle positions need significant upgrades to provide better protection for the quarterback, regardless of whether it's Hogue or another young signal caller. Currently, Chiefs guards are below average, with a group of 26-year-olds who fall into the tier 3 or 4 range. It isn't significant to anchor a strong offense, and a team must prioritize upgrading guard in the offseason. You don't really have anything that's really any good. It's just decent tier. It's not gonna help solidify your offense. You need that good guards to anchor around and the good tackles to anchor around as well. At tackle, similar situation. The Chiefs just have one decent one on the roster. They have, but he's only average. I mean, he's not really great. He's kind of in that you can work with him stage, but again, he's not really great. They have to invest in a number 1 tackle. They have to. Either through free agency or through the draft. They have to solidify the edges to keep the quarterback upright. Let's look at the receiver. As you can see, they have 2 rostered. Wide receiver depth, in need of complement to Cooper Cup, sorry. Cooper Kupp is the top wide receiver and remains a standout at the position. However, the team lacks a reliable secondary option. Currently, they only have one other receiver rostered. He's more of a developmental prospect than a proven contributor. Provide Hogan or any other future quarterback with more robust arsenal, they must add depth and find a solid number 2 receiver to complement Kupp and balance their passing attack. They have to do it. They just don't have the depth. Just don't have anything there, really. They have one good receiver. That's it. They have a good tight end up there. They have a little bit of depth behind them. Now, if you look, I just scrolled all the way down, and there's not much to the defense. Defense needs a revamp across the board. Defense requires a substantial overhaul, particularly at and key positions as cornerback, as you see, and linebacker, defensive end, as well. Kind of needs all overhaul. At quarterback, you got Bradley Roby. He remains a high-level player, rated 93 overall. But at 32, he's not a long-term solution. They need to find a number 2 quarterback to play alongside him. With an eye towards grooming his eventual successor. You need to have that guy there in place so he can be groomed and also add support there. At linebacker, Kansas City lacks a true leader. They need a fast, young number 1 linebacker to anchor the defense, provide the speed and leadership the unit is currently missing. Without a top-tier linebacker, defense will continue to struggle against high-powered offenses. There is no one that stands out at all here. No one really stands out. You have some developmental guys, some backups. Nothing stands out. Defensive end position is also a concern. They need a fast, the Chiefs only have one defensive end roster. That is Gonzalez. He's 27 years old. He's 72 rated. He's serviceable as a depth. He isn't a starting caliber player, and the Chiefs need to find not just one, but they need to find 2 quality ends to boost their pass defense. He's more of a backup. He doesn't have the speed. He doesn't really have the strength there. He's more of a depth piece. Special team needs immediate. They have immediate needs there as well, and they also. Well, let's address the strong safety position. They don't have one. They need one. They need to get a decent strong safety. They just need one. It needs to be decent at least. Drafting one is an option. On the free agent route is also one. Want to get him fairly young because this team is not winning right now. Special teams needs the immediate needs. In addition to issues on offense and defense, they have no kicker or punter currently rostered. Addressing these special teams needs should be a straightforward task, but it remains essential to ensuring the Chiefs don't lose critical field positions or scoring opportunities due to unreliable special teams play. Special teams can be a key area. The path forward. The Kansas City Chiefs face an important offseason that could set the course for the future. With a bevy of draft picks is clear need at quarterback, offensive line, receiver, and several defensive positions. The team has the assets to rebuild effectively. Securing a young quarterback to groom, bolstering both offensive and defensive lines, and adding depth at key skill positions will be vital in reshaping the Chiefs roster. If they can make the right moves and leverage their draft capital wisely, the Chiefs could set them up for a much improved 2026 season and beyond. Washington Nationals offseason rebuild to revitalized after a 4-13 season. Washington Nationals are coming off a tough 4-13 season, just like most of the teams before and after. They have a full slew of draft picks for the 2026 draft, including their 1 through 7 rounds. They have all those. The team is positioned for an important offseason with several key positions in need of upgrade. The offseason presents a pivotal moment for Washington efforts to rebuild and return to competitive form. These will break down the biggest needs and how they can address them. Washington Nationals. Oh, why am I saying Nationals? Washington Commanders. What the heck was that? Typo. Washington Commanders face uncertainty after Terrell Pryor's retirement. It was coming. He was old. Pryor was 35 years old. He had been a staple for the offense for many seasons. While losing a veteran of this caliber is tough, the writing's been on the walls for some time. And now it's time to look to the future. The 2026 draft provides a perfect opportunity for the Nationals to find the next franchise quarterback. With a top 5 pick, the team is in prime position to invest in a young quarterback to groom as their new face of the offense. While the loss of Pryor marks the end of an era, it also opens the door for a fresh talent to lead this team for coming years. They don't really have these with these quarterbacks. Cepho, he's got 80 arm. He's not bad. He's not terrible. He could lead them, but he's in contract year 2, and you're not going to want to give him a bunch of money. You might as well draft one who'll be cheaper than to resign him, most likely. Oh, not logged in to see. Offensive line. The offensive line is not terrible, but they need to find a true number 1 tackle. Protecting the quarterback is crucial. Washington's offensive line, particularly at the tackle position, needs significant improvement. The current group is aging and lacks a standout player who can anchor the line. Find a dominant number 1 tackle should be top priority to ensure that the quarterback has a protection needed to develop and succeed. Obviously, they got a top 5 pick. They should go after the quarterback. If they can't get the quarterback, then they have to address some other needs. A true number 1 tackle is one of those needs. Now, if we look down here, tight end. They're in need of a true starter. They don't have one. Let's face it. Washington only has 1 tight end on the roster, and that's Danny. He's 29 years old, 75 overall. He's more suited for backup role at the stage of his career. He's 29 years old. They need a true number 1 to provide a reliable target for the quarterback. Upgrading this position not only will strengthen their passing game, but will provide versatility in offensive schemes. They just need that number 1. He can be the backup, but they need to get a number 1 tight end. Looking at the receiving corps, they have a number 1 and a number 2, and they have depth. They're pretty decent there. Treadwell is aging, but still good. And they got Jake up here, who's good depth. And they got Jordan here, 26. He's a good number 2. He has good hand. He has pretty good hands and speed. Speed could be better, but not bad. All right, let's look at the secondary. Adding depth at corner. Washington boasts a solid number 1 cornerback in Dante Johnson. He's got excellent speed, agility, and decent hands. He's pretty good. However, they are lacking a solid number 2 to play alongside him. Adding a complementary cornerback to shore up the boundary will be crucial in strengthening their defense, especially against teams with strong passing attack. dropping things. Alright. Now, along with that, they also, they got some depth pieces for a corner, which is good. But they got to get that number 2 in there to help him. Now, linebacker, a true leader is needed. They don't have one. I mean, they got some aging guys and get some bodies. They're in dire need of a number 1 linebacker who can lead the defense for many seasons to come. Washington needs a linebacker speed, leadership qualities necessary to anchor the middle of the field. And they got to set the tone for defense. Find a young, athletic linebacker who can grow into a leadership role should be high priority this offseason as well. Defensive end, sorry. Find a strong partner for Daryl down here. He's kind of by his lonesome here. He's the top one on the roster by far. They need some reinforcements on the line. Daryl's strong defensive end. He's 29 years old. He's 86, so he's not bad, but he is aging. He has excellent tackling and top-tier strength, but he's aging. They must find a number 2 defensive end to play alongside him. While remains effective, he could also become a trade candidate if the Commanders decide to capitalize on his value. Regardless, they need a reliable, strong option to strengthen their pass rush. Washington ain't doing good. They could just decide to trade some of their aging players, and that's fine. Once you get value back and you're able to turn that value into another player, somebody to help your team out, it's fine. Now let's look at the free agents, the free safety position. To bolster the secondary. They need to address their free safety position. They have no standout player at free safety. Just bodies on the roster. Securing a solid number 1 option will be essential to locking down the secondary and providing a reliable coverage against the pass. They just don't have anybody that can really play right there. I mean, they could swap over maybe Hall to free safety, but they still need to add more depth. If they did that, they'd have to add depth to strong safety, so you might as well just get a good free safety. The path forward. This offseason, Washington's focus will be on securing that new leader, that dynamic young quarterback to build around, to lead them back to competitiveness. With needs at quarterback, offensive line, tight end, cornerback, linebacker, defensive end, and free safety, Washington has a lot of work to do. However, with a full complement of draft picks, they have the assets to make significant improvements. By addressing their situation, at quarterback, bolstering on the offensive line, adding key pieces to defense, the Commanders, they can begin to rebuild themselves and put in a position for success for coming years. They have some cap space, $28 million. They can use that. If they can make the right moves this season, they will lay the foundation for a much stronger team capable of competing at higher levels for seasons to come. They have the cap. They have some picks. They can make some trades, and they can get this team back to competitiveness. It can be done. Lastly, we're going to take a look at the Cincinnati Bengals and their key off-season moves to rebuild after a 4-13 season. All right, they are entering the 2026 off-season with a 4-13 record and a significant opportunity to reshape their roster. 2 first-round picks, as well as selections in round 2 and 2 third-rounders, and picks in the 5 through 7 rounds. Bengals are in well positioned to address several critical needs. Here's a breakdown of the team's top priorities and how they can make the most of their draft capital. Quarterback, securing a franchise leader. They don't have one. Bengals sold their quarterback last season, and the search for the franchise QB continues. With 2 first-round picks, Cincinnati has prime opportunity to select a top quarterback prospect. If they're in position to land the best QB available, then they should not hesitate on this choice. A franchise QB is essential to rebuilding their offense. And with multiple high picks, the Bengals have flexibility to prioritize this position early in the draft. Okay, there, you can see they don't really have anybody. Huntley's aging. Stopgap, that's about it. Now, let's look at the offensive line. In desperate need of upgrades. As you can see, and I can see, they need upgrades. Bengals offensive line is a major area of concern. The team needs a number 1 guard and tackle, as their current roster lacks top-tier talent in these positions. As you can see, John Sampson is their current guard, could serve as a valuable backup, but he's not a long-term solution. Well, he's not. It's up in the fence with him if he's a long-term solution or not. Right now, he has potential to develop into a low-end starter. They still need to secure a number 1 guard to stabilize the interior offensive line. So right now, he's more of a, I don't know, he's more of a, he's on that fringe, a backup starter. You know, he has potential to be a good starter in the league. You know, low-end starter to a middle-end, I'd say, you know. With some training camp, we had training camp, and if he can develop his skill position, I think that will help. At the tackle position, Buchanan, Colin Buchanan is on the roster, but let's click on him. But is not ready to be a reliable starter. So they need to add a number 1 tackle that is not only tackle will not only help protect the quarterback, but also provide Buchanan with an opportunity to develop alongside a veteran presence. He is young. He was a 2nd-round pick last year. He can develop into a starter. Skill needs to get up a little bit, but he can. His endurance is pretty low, but you can fix some of this stuff in training camp and mini camp. He can develop into a starter. You got Skippy here. He obviously is a starter now. He's on a cheap contract. Well, kind of cheap. But he's not bad. But they're rebuilding. So he's not a long-term solution. He's more of a stopgap than anything. But he still will be a reliable depth piece, if anything else. Alright, let's go down here. Tight end in search of recruit number 1. The Bengals are also in need of a top-tier tight end. Wolf is 26 years old. He's rated 73 overall. You know, he's got good speed at 80 and good hands. But he's not that true number 1. He's more suited for number 2 role or depth role. They got to prioritize finding number 1 receiver. Someone who can be a reliable target in passing game, add versatility to the offense. A solid tight end can help open up the offense, providing a security blanket for the quarterback and contributing to both sides, both passing and running games. And if you got a good versatile tight end, you can also put him at receiver in some formations, and they can be a contributor on that way as well. They got DK Metcalf, that's the number 1 receiver, and they do have depth here. Dorsett's probably the number 2. No, Kirk's number 2. Sorry, and Dorsett's 3rd. So they're not bad here. You have young guys who are first-round picks or thereabouts, or 2nd or whatnot. I think he was drafted in the 2nd round. Yeah. So they put stock in the receiver position, which is smart. Let's go down here. Linebacker, a true leader is needed. Cincinnati defense is in need of a number one linebacker with speed and leadership qualities. Now we look down here, we see Josh Woods. Woods is developing with solid tackling skills and decent speed. And he's got good tackling skills, speed there. You got some agility here. He can grow into a low-end starter or low-medium-end starter. He's got the speed. And then we look over here at Davis over here. Davis provides veteran presence. I lost my spot. He's got solid tackling skills and decent speed, as you can see. But he's aging. He's 27. He's still aging, but he will help provide that veteran presence and strong tackling ability. But they still lack that number one anchor, that top linebacker. This guy is good. He has agility, strength, what you want to see there. Speed's lacking a little bit, but he is pretty solid there. They need that standout linebacker. They got to anchor that defense. They need to find a young, fast, and dynamic leader who will help solidify the Bengals' front seven and provide leadership on defense for years to come. They have some pieces, but they need to add some top-tier talent there. Alright, strong safety. They need a true number one safety. They just have a few backups there. You know, Hernandez is a 4th round pick. You need a true number one. He's more of a developmental guy right now. He just doesn't have speed. He's 79 speed. They could improve that in minicamp, I guess, and that would help. But they need that speedy, sure tackling safety to strengthen their defense and provide a support against the run and pass. A reliable, strong safety will help shore up the back end of the defense and give them a secondary, and give the Bengals secondary the boost it needs. They can get away with him, but they could upgrade from him, I think. I mean, he's 7-year deal for $2.7 million. You know, so he's got him locked down. So he quickly turned around and re-signed him. It looks like, yeah. So they drafted him and then turned around week 18 and signed to extension. So it looks like they're planning to build with him being a prime piece of the secondary. And you can see they like the agility here. 90 agility is good. That's helpful. Lacking strength, but speed, they could, like I said, training camp and minicamp could help that. The hands are lacking, but endurance is not good. They need to improve that. Needs to improve so you don't get winded. But he's got good skill, pretty good skill there. So I think they're going to use him as a long-term solution there. However, things could change. The path forward with significant draft capital and multiple key areas of need, the Bengals have an important offseason ahead. By securing a franchise quarterback, upgrading the offensive line, adding a number one tight end, and addressing defensive needs at linebacker and strong safety, Cincinnati has a chance to reshape their roster and foundation for future success. If the Bengals make the right moves, they can turn the corner and begin climbing back towards competitiveness and in the coming seasons. This offseason will be crucial in determining the trajectory of the team. And with the assets they're in strong position to get it. All right, that was a quick look at some of the lower end teams, or actually the lower end teams. Let me go switch to the draft lottery. Let me switch draft lottery real quick. Okay. Let's close these out. There we go. thing go? Here it is. Alright. Draft Lotto. And as we can see, there's only 5 teams. And the bottom teams are the Colts, Saints, Chiefs, Commanders, and Bengals. As you see, they're weighted. 31 for the Colts, 25 for the Saints, Chiefs 18, Washington 14, and Bengals are 12. So let's go see who gets the what picks. At number 5, you know, show me what the heck? Number 5 is Cincinnati Bengals. Not sure why it turned that way. Number 4, Indianapolis Colts. Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, New Orleans Saints. And number 1, Washington Commanders. Uh-oh. Is there an error? Okay. Alright, so as you can see, the Washington Commanders had the top pick in the draft, followed by the Saints, Chiefs, Colts, and Bengals. Congratulations to the Washington Commanders on netting the first overall pick in the 2026 draft. Congratulations to you, and I hope that you use your draft capital wise and turn this team around. All right. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching. What the heck? It already is. Okay. Alright, thanks for watching.